Hello everyone, I'm Natasha Chen in for Koi Wire. And as Koi would say, happy Friday, you did it. Now let's celebrate all of the hard work you put in this week by making this Friday count. The best 10 minutes in news starts now. We begin with a pair of storms that could impact the U.S. East Coast in the coming days. As of this taping, Tropical Storm Humberto is churning in the western Atlantic Ocean. And while it's poised to become a hurricane by this weekend, it's not yet clear if it poses a direct threat to the East Coast. But another storm currently in the northern Caribbean is also drawing meteorologists' attention. It's known as 94L and could strengthen into Tropical Storm Imelda by this weekend and possibly interact with Humberto. Our Allison Chinchar is here to help explain what takes place when two storms meet.
We have not one, but two separate systems that we're keeping an eye on here in the Atlantic Basin. Now, what makes these two systems interesting is how close together they are and what's going to happen over the next few days. And here's why this is interesting. This high pressure system is essentially blocking these systems from coming too far north too quickly. But we also have this very deep trough that is set up over the United States. What this is essentially going to do is provide a very narrow passageway for both of these storms to end up going through, putting them very close together. Now, the interesting thing is when you have two systems like that come that close together, they end up doing what's called the Fujiwara effect, which means they could end up influencing each other because of their proximity. Now, when the systems are roughly the same, either in intensity or size, they basically orbit the same center and then go their separate ways. But when one of them is either larger or stronger, it can actually start to influence the smaller or the weaker storm. They end up starting to spin around each other, but that larger storm ends up influencing where that secondary storm ends up going. So this is certainly going to be something interesting to keep an eye on over the next few days in the Atlantic.
Moving now to a developing situation in Denmark, where police say drones have been spotted over some of the country's busiest airports. Aalborg Airport was forced to temporarily stop operations this week after a drone sighting. It marks the second time in just days that a Danish airport was forced to close because of drones in the area. Similar sightings closed airports in Oslo and the Danish capital of Copenhagen earlier this week. Danish officials have noted similar suspected Russian drone incursions and airspace violations in Europe. Russia, for its part, has denied any involvement. If you plan to take a ride on the New York City subway anytime soon, you may recognize a familiar voice at some stations.
Hey New York, it's Cardi B. I'm here at the MTA recording some PSAs you'll be hearing in the subway stations.
We're walking here. Steps are for stepping, not sitting. Move it, bucko.
The New York-born rapper Cardi B is delivering public service announcements with her own special flair. The etiquette and safety messages will play out at subway stations throughout the city's. All right, time for 10-second trivia. What language combination is most widely spoken in Hong Kong? Cantonese and English, Mandarin and Portuguese, English and Japanese, or Mandarin and English? The answer here is Cantonese and English. Hong Kong was a colony of the United Kingdom until 1997, when it was officially handed back to China. But China signed an agreement that Hong Kong would be able to keep its own economic and legal systems under the principle of one country, two systems. Question: how would you solve a housing crisis in one of the world's most expensive and crowded cities? We are talking about Hong Kong, home to more than 7.5 million people, record property prices, and a crippling housing shortage. But one local company thinks they may have a solution to help some of Hong Kong's poorest citizens with a unique approach to portable shelters. Take a look.
Design studio Editecture's retail and hospitality interiors can be found across Hong Kong. But their latest project is for an altogether different client.
In a nutshell, it's a big suitcase that opens up and transforms into a home.
This is the Home Edit, a mobile housing kit for the homeless. While Hong Kong's homeless population is relatively low compared to US cities, the project is part of the firm's wider non-profit efforts to design for the city's poorest residents.
Living standard and rent in Hong Kong is one of the highest in the world. As an architect, I can't change the reality.
Instead, the firm has been focused on an alternative solution.
I was always inspired by the House of Moving Castle. I thought, wow, if we have that little mini castle for them to move around town, maybe they can have slightly better living condition for them. Because when it opens up to a bedroom, a kitchen, and the utilities that they need.
This 70-year-old will be one of the first to receive the 20 kits rolling out this winter.
呢度咧冇嘢遮住，啲風啊、雨啊，是但啦有吹落去噶啦，濕晒，最大呢個問題。
We want the involvement of the homeless community in our design process so we understand fully what they need on the street.
With sustainability one of Editecture's core values, many parts of the kit are 3D printed, cutting waste in production, and made up from up to 10,000 upcycled plastic bottles.
And this is RPET, recycled plastic pellets, and that's what we use for all of our printing.
Other features include solar panels that convert sunlight into energy to charge cell phones and electric fans. There's also a tarp to provide shelter and privacy.
We think nobody deserves to be on the street. No one chooses to be on the street. And everyone deserves a home.
Now to a story about a famous athlete auctioning off some of his old gear for good. The skateboard that Tony Hawk used in a landmark trick known as the 900 has sold for more than $1 million at auction. Some of Hawk's other gear also went for high prices. A pair of black and orange sneakers fetched $64,000. Hawk's helmet sold for more than $115,000, and even his knee pads went for over $57,000.
I've never been really sentimental about my gear. And like I basically threw away all my trophies through the years, and so to have this remain was actually a surprise. But it represents that era of skating to me. Obviously, that event, 99 X Games. So I'm hugely proud of it. But I feel like it was time to let it go. I hope skateboarding somehow resonated in their life, and that this means something to them in that respect.
Hawk was the first skater to land the 2.5 revolution aerial at the 1999 X Games in San Francisco. He says proceeds from the sale will support his nonprofit skate park project that helps build public skate parks in underserved areas. Today's story getting a 10 out of 10. An unbearably fun competition is back. This year's Fat Bear Week is underway, and it needs your help to crown a winner. Katmai National Park in Alaska hosts the annual event, which aims to name the biggest brown bear in the park as they gear up for winter hibernation. The bracket of beefy bears are eliminated one by one until just one top teddy remains. And it's not just for laughs. The park says it's actually a celebration of a thriving ecosystem.
We need to protect and support these places that are thriving. I mean, we had more salmon in that river this year than we've ever had before. And there aren't a lot of places on this earth that can say that.
Want to help crown the fattest furry friend? You can view the chunky contestants and cast your vote from now until September 30th at fatbearweek.org. Did you know hibernating is hard work? Katmai's fat bears are feasting for good reason. Bears can burn up to 4,000 calories a day while hibernating. Some of them will lose up to 1/3 of their body weight by the time they emerge in the spring. Their bodies metabolize stored up fat to produce water and food. The incredible process even allows them to maintain muscle mass and bone density. Very cool. All right, superstars, let's get you some Friday shout-outs. This first one is going to Mr. Gerard's 7th grade social studies students at Broad Rock Middle School in South Kingstown, Rhode Island. And from our Instagram followers, Roberts Academy at Macon University in Macon, Georgia. Thank you for the awesome video. We hope you have a wonderful weekend. Get outside, and we'll see you right back here on Monday. I'm Natasha Chen, and this is CNN 10.